Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Canned Air, your tribute to pop culture. I am Jeremy Colley.
And I'm Jack Doherty.
And joining us today is a film director whose work you may have seen in movies like Pawn Volition, Showdown in Yesteryear, and the upcoming Wild Western film. He's here to talk about his new film, Squatch, which is described as the ultimate killer Bigfoot movie. I mean, what more do you need to hear to be, sold on this? Which is crowdfunding on Indiegogo until September 1st. From Ass Backward Films, we welcome film director Aaron Bratcher to the show. Aaron, thank you for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, awesome freaking intro. Jesus, God.
I'm glad you liked it, man. You know, we
professional. Look at you.
I hope so. Christ, over a decade. I better have learned something at this point, or I just need to quit. But,
right.
We got to meet you on the set of the Wild Western, and it was brief because you guys were busy, especially you, man. You never stopped that day. But it's good to, catch up here and finally get to talk with you.
Oh, thanks for having me so much. No, I can tell you made the cut. I've edited like 60% of the Wild Western. I had to take a little pause just so I could focus on Squatch because It's like a 2 to 3 month, technical nightmare. So I got like 60% through editing the Wild Western, and you're in it. So
awesome. That's what we
reached
wanted
out
to
to you
hear.
guys. I was like, oh, he's that guy with the gun. Like, all right.
I hope that's what it says in the credits, guy with the gun.
The gun. Yeah, no, actually, you can come up with your character name, but if you don't come up with one, you'll be guy with the gun.
Really? We can come up with a character name.
Well, you were supposed to. Everybody is, that whole movie was improv. So just a little backstory for the Wild Western, I guess, for the viewers, just because you guys know about it. But there was no script or plan per se. I was kind of there as like a story advisor. I've made a movie before, especially in a quick period of time, in the same town location where we filmed the Wild Western, so it was kind of a perfect candidate to I'll come out and make sure you guys finish the movie. But then I kind of was like, oh, I think I might be directing them. might be directing another movie.
It certainly looked that way, but no, it was awesome. And in the movie you're referring to is a Showdown in Yesteryear, which I got to see and was awesome. As soon as we came home from the set, I was like, I want to see more of what's happening here. And, everyone was talking about Showdown in Yesteryear while we were there. And bravo, it was a lot of fun, man. Loved that movie.
That movie, again, I wasn't expecting to direct that one either. Kind of very similar situation where I just showed up and it was like, oh, this isn't going to work. All right, let's make a movie. So we shot that thing in like 18 days. Honestly, that was a harder experience than the Wild Western was. Wild Western was just like, oh, I know how to pull a movie out of my ass here.
Sure.
And it was just, But in the Wild Western was so much more of a fun tone, where we weren't bound to the text the way we were in Showdown Yesteryear. It was like at the end of the day, we had to finish the scenes that were in the script.
Right.
Because we were kind of bound to it. Where the Wild Western, it was like, hey, we've run out of time to shoot the scene. It's like, all right, well, how about the scene changes and now we're outside? And you just get kicked out the door or something. And it was like, all right, cool. So it was so loose that it was able to, we were able to pivot constantly. And,
sure.
It
was so much fun to be there. That was our first experience on a movie set. And we were just elated all day. It never ceased to be amazing, and everybody was so incredibly welcoming and nice. So thank you for that. That was awesome.
Thanks for coming out. Volunteer. We couldn't do this without volunteers and the people come out to help out all the time. And well, I'm glad you guys had fun because for most of it, I don't know. For me, I always have this nerve-wracking thing going on the back of my brain of this is. You think it's going to be fun going to a movie set all day. You're like, oh yeah, we're going to see this crazy stuff. It's like, no, you're going to sit around for, 8 to 12 hours and, or 20 maybe, if it's the Showdown in Yesteryear. You're going to sit around all day and it's a very technical process. And it's like, if you're not there for the process, it's boring as shit, man. Right. So, I'm glad you guys enjoyed yourself, but, and then that movie just by its own, the nature of what it kind of innately was, it's, this improvisational thing where Yeah, there was no real plan. So the fact that anybody had fun at all and nobody killed anybody is kind of a miracle. So that movie, a
Nobody
lot
got
like
burned by fire.
Well, almost. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Jesus fuck. Yeah, that I won't get into the
Yeah,
specifics
yeah.
of
Yeah.
the clownery of the production of the Wild Western. There's a whole documentary going to come out about the
Oh
making of
man, I'm
that movie.
excited to see
So
that.
Nice.
yeah, that was kind of our safety net. It was, going into it, we're like, we're making a movie with no script and like no plan. Like, this is a really dumb fucking idea, and there's a reason people don't do it this way. So the safety net was, well, we'll have a documentary shot during the same time. That way, it's like the backup. So if this, we come out with what was likely to happen, incoherent pile of shit or something. Like at least there's this documentary that explores this experiment, and well, like yeah, they were doomed for failure, but surprisingly, no, we came out with a full movie, and like there's an A to Z, and there's a beginning, middle, and end. It might be a little thin, but there's a story.
That's fine by me. I am so
Yeah.
excited to see it. I'm so excited. So, but must be patient. Must be patient. And in the
So I
meantime,
will
man.
finish editing that before I touch SLASQ. So we wrap SLASQ October 31st. We have some second unit stuff throughout November and probably actually throughout the whole winter. It's so effects heavy. But yeah, I'll be editing Wild Western. I'll get right back to it. And so that should be done pretty quick. And yeah, we're hoping to have that out springtime-ish, maybe.
Awesome.
So
well,
Nice.
we'll have our ears to the ground, man. Cannot wait to see it.
beautiful.
But let's find out a little bit about yourself, because again, we didn't get a lot of time to meet you. I think you hail from Portland, Oregon, correct?
Yeah, that area. I was actually born in Ohio, weirdly enough. So
Oh,
like,
no shit.
and oddly, I shoot movies out there pretty much exclusively. So in the time talking to you guys now, I'm in upstate or Western New York, filming Squatch. So it's like, for whatever reason, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, and like Western to upstate New York, like that's where I make movies.
Well, hey, man.
And maybe it's there's kind of a lack of infrastructure for it. So like, we can get a whole small town to help us out with Squatch, and like, yeah, we're gonna take over Main Street for 3 nights and park cop cars and like do all this crazy shit. And they're like, all right, that's fine. Like,
yeah, I'm the captain now.
yeah. Well, it's like not a mayor; it's just a town supervisor or something. So it's just like a nice guy, like, oh, hey, Greg.
Yeah, that's so nice, man. I'm sure that's a rare thing, probably, when making a movie.
It seems to be pretty neat.
Yeah.
People seem to be weirded out whenever they get to the set. They're like, "Oh, you guys are just like it's like you're treating this like this is a small business." Like, I don't know, this is America. Like, you're allowed to do things.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rules against it. Like,
Right.
It's just a business. I don't know why people don't treat this like. Yeah, I don't. But
And for a film with a killer Sasquatch, I mean, that tri-state area is like seemingly perfect backdrop for a
yeah, oddly enough, the movie takes place in the Pacific Northwest, like Washington State area, where I'm from. And I have to shoot it here just because the amount of resources I'm allowed and things I'm allowed to destroy. Purely that. It's,
right.
I have so many car destructions and like, driving trucks through stores and, all these different like stuff that we're putting together. And it's not possible to do on the West Coast just because everything costs an arm and a leg out there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
They're used to they're used to this kind of thing happening. So yeah, you come out to a small town in Ohio or Pennsylvania or New York and like, hey, we have this idea. You can find the right guy. You just might be cool with it.
That is so cool. I'm so jealous of what you get to do for a living, man. It's so much fun.
Yeah, no, it's a blast. And this movie really is, a dream come true. It's, I've always known what I was going to do from like conception or birth. I guess it was always just like, I'm going to make movies. Like, I saw Jaws. I guess I was probably 3 years old. Saw Jaws, and it was just like, that's what
I'm out of the womb like this.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, is like how old you were and what the films were that inspired it. But I think you just killed two birds with one stone.
I came out kind of knowing what I was going to do, and I saw Jaws, I think around age 3, and then I tried to make that movie like every day until I'm still trying to make it, and we're finally doing it. Like,
Right.
this is my Jaws. But yeah, always wanted to do it, and everything's just been building towards it. So, and yeah, I finally get to make my big creature feature, and yeah. So Squatch, it's here.
I can't wait to see it. I've seen the trailer, and is it okay if I cut the trailer in right here?
Yeah, 100%. So there's like 5 minutes of the movie done, the opening 5 minutes. It's on the website, SLASQ.com. But then we're also running the Indiegogo. So yeah, there's like a 30-minute second thing. I don't know. There's a bunch of trailers.
Yeah, I was just going to use like a quick 30-second one if that's cool.
Oh, beautiful.
And if
Yeah,
you're,
no, I was on a podcast the other day and somebody ran like the whole 2-minute like promo ad of me like, go to Indiegogo.com. I was like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. Like, I didn't want to react to myself shilling.
Well, the beauty of this is pre-recorded, so you're not going to see anything no matter what we use right now. I'm just going to put it in post. So go ahead and tell us and the listeners a little bit more about this movie, Squatch.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's the ultimate killer Bigfoot movie. I don't know. Nobody's ever taken the concept of Sasquatch seriously, I feel, other than like Harry and the Hendersons. There's like one movie that's like the definitive Bigfoot movie, Harry and the Hendersons.
Right.
But there's not the antithesis to that. There's no, there is no scary Sasquatch film that's the definitive one. I mean, if you asked everybody, maybe they would know Legend of Boggy Creek. There's 2 found footage ones that are pretty darn good.
Oh, really? That sounds neat.
Yeah, exists, and then Bobcat Goldthwait directed one called like Willow Creek, I think. And so they're pretty decent. But I've just at the end of the day, I watch these movies and it's a bear. Like, it might as well be a bear. It's this big, hairy, scary thing, and it just shows up and kills a bunch of unlikable characters. And, you get out in 85 minutes and you're just, okay, like, there's another one down. Technically, that was a Bigfoot horror film. And it just, I don't know. This thing's a mythological creature that if you were to run into, it would change your perception of reality. And maybe if you were, I don't know, atheist or something, not that the film is overly, faith-based or anything. Maybe after seeing Sasquatch, you go, okay, maybe there is a God. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. So maybe it would change your view of the world a little bit. And so I guess that's just like the ethos, like the point of the movie. Just like, this is a big freaking deal. And so if you had to boil it down, it's like Close Encounters meets, I guess Close Encounters and Jaws crushed together. We're just, monster attacking the thing, but like, we're treating it with this majesty and reverence and spectacle of like Close Encounters, and just like, this is beyond us. And I don't want to go too far into it. So otherwise I'll start to spoil things. But yeah.
And so as far as using Bigfoot, Sasquatch, is this like, have you always been a big fan of Bigfoot? Has that always been the dream, make a Jaws movie with Bigfoot? And on top of that, are you a believer?
Yeah.
Do you believe in cryptids and whatnot?
Yeah. So oddly enough, growing up in the Northwest, I guess it's not odd that Sasquatch has always been a big part of my life. Mm-hmm. And so, like, growing up, I had my Bigfoot hunting box and binoculars and all the stupid shit. And I'd go sit in the schoolyard playground with binoculars, staring into some neighbors, somebody living adjacent's property.
Any day trees, now, it's coming.
I see the son of a bitch. But yeah, it's always been a part of my life. And oddly enough, like, we came up, a buddy of mine who's in the movie came up with the title like 6 years ago while we were in the Army making our first movie. Before we even made our first movie, Pawns Volition, we were going to make some other kind of thing called Dude Bro Down. Thank God we didn't. our humor wasn't as smart as we thought we were, and we would have been canceled before we even started. So thank God the files got corrupted in that movie. Shit. But while we were making it, it was this kind of horror comedy satire dude bro thing, and I was like, I need more like bro comedy horror things, and so I was like, The Winda Bro, and like all these tie-in movies. Eventually my buddy was just like, how come nobody made a movie called Squatch? And I was just like, okay, so that's going to have to happen. And so honestly, we've been sitting on the title for like 6 to 8 years now, where it was just like, eventually somebody's going to make a movie called Squatch because it's just right there. And then there's more, honestly, like the last 3 years, I've just been waiting to make my, as I call it, my big blue horror film where, there's just this ever-present moonlight, blue moonlight behind every actor. No matter where you are, there's a moonlight behind you. Because movies should look like that. Movies used to look like movies instead of murky bullshit, which they look like now. Or it's like, let's try to make it look like real life, or don't. I don't know.
I mean, don't you go to a movie to escape real life?
Real life's boring typically.
Yeah.
Like let's try to make it look a little neat. So, oddly enough, I've been, I knew my next film after because I wasn't expecting to direct Showdown or the Wild Western. So I was like, okay, I've kind of done 2 impromptu westerns back to back, and I was like, whatever the next one is, like it's my big horror one, and it kind of took a few different forms. But no matter what, it was just like sort of for the last 4 years, it's just been the horror medium, and like I've always said my entire life, like my filmography at the end of the day, it'll probably end up being more horror than not.
That's not a problem, though.
No.
Maybe it'll be split equal like parts of like westerns and war movies and horror, but like more horror than
Right.
It'll be a lot of horror movies and then weirdly period pieces and really serious things. And I don't know. I want to do kids movies. I want to do a musical. I want to do it, but mainly I guess horror, war movies, and westerns.
You know what you could do
The
is
fun
make
ones.
a horror western.
Oh, eventually I'll get there. Yeah, the story will land on me. These things seem to just present themselves to me all at once. So it's just like, oh, there it is. So yeah, oddly enough, I sat on Squatch, the title, for 6 years, and we ran through every iteration of what this could be. And it was silly. It was always a joke, and it was like, okay, it's like the Do Bro Down thing. Like, this is just going to be some comedy, and it's not, they can't make fun of us if we're making fun of ourselves,
right?
Because the movie's cheap, and it's like, that is cheap, and that's fucking lame, and your movie's not going to live, and it's not going to be anything because you've taken the piss out of it before it even had a chance. Like, I don't know, swing for the fucking fences. So this is my big, like, the movie's pretty fucking serious. Title aside, it's like, no, I'm taking the concept of a horror Sasquatch film, I think, the most seriously it's ever been taken. That being said, like, the characters are allowed to be funny. Like, there's some irony to this. I understand that, but in the way that maybe Tremors, is funny. It's like the characters are funny, the circumstances and death are not.
Sure.
And the monster is not a joke. So, yeah, we're taking it very seriously. But yeah, I guess that's the idea of the film.
It looked freaking awesome in the trailer, and I was going to ask you. You already answered. It's one thing to have a Bigfoot that's murderous and out killing, but one that's wielding knives and axes and stuff, and that born from the title that came first. Yeah.
Okay. It always came around to like, obviously the guy's got to use tools and kill people. Right. And then I've always been a big fan of the axe. Like, I don't know, I had this Friday 13th 4 poster on my wall my entire childhood, and it's like Jason ripping through some sort of like, paper, I don't even know, but with the double bit axe, and it's just like this incredible illustration. And like, I don't know, people used to paint posters, like people used to give a shit about these things.
Yeah.
And like every part of the movie had some sort of effort or tangibility put in, whether that's the Henry Manfredini orchestral score or the actual production of the film or the novelization that came out with it, the Alice Cooper music video. Like, people used the movie was more than just something that came out on the internet and, go watch my movie and it's content. Like, that's offensive to me. As somebody who's spent my entire life studying and pursuing a thing and will spend, like this is what I do. There's nothing else.
Right.
Like I'm a filmmaker. The term content is really like quite fucked up where it's like, all right, not to compare, SLASQ to Picasso or fucking something, but
no, do it, please. Go ahead.
And like, yeah, I don't know, just to boil it down to some sort of disposable McDonald's meal that, it's just, it's the same as it was yesterday. And here's the new, like, no, the point
here's
of this
a bunch of trash. Watch it. Yeah.
The point of this is to try to make something that stands the test of time and something that can be, taken seriously. And if I'm ridiculed for the next 30 years for making Squatch and it's up its own ass, it's some really like sincere, killer Bigfoot movie. Fuck it. I'm swinging for the fences and we're going for it. And so when I say like the Close Encounters Jaws thing, it's like, no, that's how seriously I'm taking every scene where it's just like, all right, like, how would Spielberg direct this moment where Bigfoot jumps in through a window and hacks up a guy with an axe? It's like, well, if this were a modern movie, there'd be a joke to take away the tension, or there'd be some irony to it. And so the guy would say a joke just prior to Bigfoot jumping in, and then it would kill him. I was like, would make it haunting. And not only that, he would shoot the art, or he would shoot the violence in some sort of artful way, where it's telling some secondary story about this character's art for, like a arc throughout the film, as well as it would be unironic. It would be so sincere, like the camera's gonna dolly up to characters as they stare off into space, bewildered, and like there's gonna be a score, orchestral score on top of the movie that is telling you how to feel. Like I don't know. Talk about like oddly, maybe the greatest director ever, Spielberg, with like some sort of, I don't know, animosity because he's great. And maybe that's just the hipster in all of us of like, oh, it's great, so we have to talk shit about it. But like, yeah, I don't know. He's fucking on to something. And maybe schmaltzy spectacle cinematic like filmmaking, it's like maybe that's just what good fucking movies are. Because I can't tell you when the last movie that came out that was just a bona fide classic where it goes, oh, that will live on forever. That wasn't a sequel or attached to. Like, honestly, like maybe Blade Runner 2049. That was like the last movie that came out where it was like looking at it, where it was like, oh, this is a real movie that has its own ideas and opinions and stuff. It happens to be attached to another movie that existed in the past, but it's very much got its own identity. And this is something that will live on longer. I don't know. I went and saw Alien Romulus the other night, and everybody's just been fucking all over that goddamn movie. It's every horror movie's dream. It's like, it's just Alien, and it's just Alien.
Yeah,
it's all of Alien.
That's all it is.
Crammed together and member berries, and it's like this is the reason they're still making Ghostbusters. And when the android, I guess I don't want to spoil Alien Romulus, but there's this incredibly out of character moment where somebody says a callback line to Alien.
Oh, I hated it. I hated that so bad.
A movie that takes place after this movie that I'm watching, and this character says a line from it, which this character has never cursed. This has not been led up to. Maybe if you did some Terminator 2 thing with this android character and like, you need to lighten up, buddy. Say shit. Say damn. Yeah. And then he gets to this moment and get away from her a bit. Like, that could be a really... I get maybe that could be something. But the way it stands now, it's just typical Disney bullshit. And it's the reason they're still making Ghostbusters movies. And stop! God damn it. Yeah. You did one good thing. Like, it can be a good thing.
Right. I enjoyed Afterlife all right. I thought it was a good kind of a third, movie since we never officially got one. But this new Ghostbusters, man. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's
horrible.
Every movie now, they don't feel like a real movie. People are in a environment, they're not interacting with it per se. They're kind of in the middle of a room, standing, and we get 2 to 3 shot coverage over the shoulder. It's everything shot like TV now. And then, people are just standing in the middle of rooms that are out of focus. And so these sets in which scenes take place in don't matter because they're shooting things so kind of, I don't know, it's like the monopoly of Hollywood, I guess. This is nothing new. I guess it's been going on since, the conception of it. But
that makes total sense because Ghostbusters definitely seemed like it was a TV show versus watching cinema.
Yeah, and I guess that's just my theory for the way things are shot now. Like when you had to film things on film, it's a finite thing, and you have 13 minutes per reel, and it cost a fucking shit ton. So
Right.
you're like, okay, this is the goddamn angle, and boy, it better look good because we're gonna get one other one, and we got to get the fuck out of
Right.
here. Now it's like digital allows us to shoot a lot more, and I'm not gonna complain about digital. It's the only reason I can exist.
Right.
And the Michael Bay of it all, which not to complain about him, but it's the coverage and use of it. And I am a big, I like the guy. I like him as a visual. It's like I understand what you're doing, and there's something to it. Maybe we can dial that in with like some storytelling stuff, and we can create kind of the ultimate action. Sorry, I got onto him for some point.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I guess the multiple coverage and just lots of angles and everything. It's led to disposable cinema basically, or just everything feels like what it is now, content, where it's just okay. The angles aren't sacred, the shots aren't sacred, the acting isn't, like the way the characters are just kind of walking in the room and talking to each other, and then the scene ends and we get out of there. It's just the room might as well not have been real, which in most of the cases now these days it is. So I don't know, the thesis of Squatch is like kind of the Spielbergian action sequence, I guess, where it's like, okay, we do a dialogue scene or something earlier in the movie, and we're going to establish a space, and whether that's a hardware store or police station or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, now you know how this room is laid out, and we've tied in little character beats. Maybe somebody keeps their gun in this desk or something, and the drawer doesn't work. I don't know. And now later in the movie, we're going to re-explore the same exact space. Now the audience knows how it's laid out. They know the rules of the space. And then you re-explore it maybe upside down or sideways or, and now the characters have to crawl underneath things and go. And so you just explore every aspect of the space. And while you're doing so, I don't know, action scenes used to have character to them. They weren't directed by different people entirely or all in the computer. Like an action scene would tell you a little bit about your character. John McClane hopping through glass or doing everything he does in that entire fucking movie tells you something about this guy and his resilience, and it tells you something about the character. And action these days is just made up by a stunt crew, and everything looks like, it's like, thank God for John Wick for, getting out of the shaky cam thing a little bit, and now we've the opposite problem. Everything's choreographed fights that are way too clean, and it's boring as shit, and nothing's visceral. And like, oh, he's rolling down the 5th set of stairs now. Like, not to talk shit about every movie ever existed, because that's what this podcast is becoming now, is me talking shit about everything. But like, I don't know, movies used to be good for a reason, and maybe we could learn from Poltergeist or some even B movies, where that's especially the whole Squatch was they couldn't pull things off, but maybe they did pull off a few things, and it was like, how can I use those things and maybe try to pull off the ultimate B movie? Or it was like, okay, B movies normally are kind of comprised of 3 to 5 locations. Maybe we get a few more than that, but if you kind of split an ensemble cast between them, you get to film less with each group of people, and things get logistically simpler, actually, if maybe you split it up between 5 to 7 locations. And so I don't know, I kind of tried to reverse engineer the B movie to try to streamline and make like the ultimate version, I guess, of I don't know. I hope people just can come out of SLASQ and say, like, holy shit, you did everything you could do, concept of a killer Bigfoot. Because and again, not to make this the Spielberg podcast, but like, the guy with making the definitive film of a like subgenre or a franchise, where it's like, no, the guy made the shark movie, the dinosaur movie,
alien movie.
Yeah, literally and then even if he didn't direct it, he produced the ultimate one. So it's like the ultimate haunted house movie is Poltergeist. Like, I don't care how many Conjuring movies come out, and some of them are pretty good. Poltergeist did it all. Like, everything you could do in a haunted house, that movie did it. Arachnophobia is the ultimate spider movie. You're not going to make a better spider movie. Like, so like the guy had something to do with the ultimate version of everything. And it was just, like, I don't know, you're going to make a Bigfoot movie and we're going to spend a lot of fucking money doing it and kill all these people. Like, how about we try to make it fucking matter? Like,
Right.
if you can have somebody think about themselves or existentialism or, like, I don't, if you could just make the movie matter at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Making it an art, something somebody wants to see, going back to what we were saying a little bit ago about, movies just seeming kind of disposable anymore. It really seems like they're being made the same way that the cartoons in the 80s were. Not like, let's see if we can, bring this to life and make an artistic, something for people to look at. It's just like, how many toys can we sell these assholes with this film? You know what I mean?
You're talking Thundercats, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even movies like your summer blockbusters these days seem to be the same way.
Yeah. That's actually a great analogy that I haven't thought of before. Yeah, because there is such a sloppiness to which some of that is like the charm, I guess, to your Street Sharks, your Ninja Turtles, your what's that, like Cowboys in Space, whatever the fuck that show is. But all of those shows, there's such a sloppiness to the animation. I guess that's part of the charm. But yeah, I just remember looking at Street Sharks or even original Ninja Turtles and like, their masks are changing, the voices aren't matching up, and it's 2 frames of the guy kind of moving back and forth, and it's just like, oh, you're just recycling the same. It's a lot like, damn, I'm gonna fuck this up. It was like an Indian animation company early on, or it's a lot like the Speed Racer stuff, where you can tell where they're cutting the corners, from the early animations, and maybe that's some sort of charm, but yes. A lot of the way, that's a lot how movies feel now. Where I just leave the theater and it's just, that was not a movie. That was not. You didn't make me think about anything. And honestly, with this new Alien movie, which I guess this, hey, we're reviewing Alien Romulus, guys.
That's fine.
Spoilers ahead. 30, 40 minutes of the movie, like this is embarrassing. Like, I don't know. I was almost like on the urge of like tears. It was just like, wow, this is like a real movie. There's atmosphere, there's characters, like the Andy character and the main character. I don't know. It felt like a real movie. I was finally did it. They finally made another Alien movie that just has its own identity and feels like its own thing. And honestly, I thought the third act of that movie was going to go back to the mining colony. And we were finally going to have aliens on a terrestrial, a planet. Right. And we were really going to go nuts. Do everything you could do with the concept, maybe.
I thought they were going to land on the mining planet, and that was going to be the planet for aliens.
Going to turn into, well, that wouldn't work because Alien took place just prior to this on LV-247 or whatever that planet's called. Same planet in Aliens and Aliens. They just terraform it. But I understand. Yeah. So I totally thought it was going to go terrestrial by the end of the movie, which is kind of what everybody's been clamoring for since the third fucking movie. How about you just make Alien 3 finally and do it right?
Well, I guess that's what the series is going to be that they're coming out with now, Alien Earth.
It's over.
There's a series coming out?
Yeah, but I've seen chronological order, and it's supposed to be before, which makes no sense. Like before Prometheus.
Oh God! Which I mean, I guess if Alien versus Predator is factual at all, I guess Aliens have been on Earth, and it was fucking lame.
Twice. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Which, you know what? I'm gonna make a little bold statement about Alien versus Predator Requiem. If you change the color grade on that movie, I think that's a pretty fucking sweet B movie. It's the fact that you can't see fucking shit, which was a post-production decision, because there's marketing material about that movie, and it's got like 80s blue moonlighting and stuff, and you can see the Predator and the aliens thing, and it's like, oh no, they made a real movie. Somebody in post-production or some 12-year-old said, that doesn't look like real dark, because they were complaining about Scream because that was popular to do at the time or something. And yeah, so everybody decided to make their movies look like murky shit, and we're still kind of stuck in that.
Sure. And, we probably will be for a while, but, and that's not to say all films are like that. Every once in a while you get a mainstream film that kind of really makes you think, or you walk away thinking about for a while, which is, what I enjoy. With Deadpool Wolverine, for example, I came out of there like, hell yeah, but it didn't like challenge thought. It just made me go, how much shit can I buy?
And at the end of the day, like that was just to me maybe even an inferior version of Deadpool 2, or just like gruff guy doesn't agree with talky guy, and here's time travel shenanigans, and they need to amount to something. It was like almost beat for beat the same movie, but with Doctor Strange and the loss of Sam Raimi's credibility crammed in with it, even down to like, oh, we're in this multiverse world and we're not going to do shit with that concept, and here's 5 cameos and we're just going to stay with them, and here we are, and uninteresting, and here's your big third act battle, and there you go, have your product. Were you happy?
Yeah.
Would you like another?
Yeah. I guess I was, but I know exactly what you're saying. I mean,
it was a fun time. As a wolf, I've been watching these movies since they fucking started in 2000 or whatever. Like I've been, believe me, I'm on the Hugh Jackman train. These things work on me. Like even the Alien Romulus fan service. It's like there's a part of me that is happy that they did that. But then there's this other part of me, as somebody who does this, that just starts to go like, but does that mean fucking anything? And it's just like, no, it doesn't. It's all just remember, like it's just a member berry.
Member berry, just like you said earlier, man. It's the perfect description. Okay, one thing I need to ask you about with /Squatch, and I could be wrong, but I thought I saw that you guys are using all practical effects in this film. Yeah,
I mean, that was kind of the premise when I set out. It was if they couldn't do it in 1988, which I guess the closest familial, like if this movie has a kind of good Lord sibling, like a spiritual sibling, it would be the Blob 1988. Like it might be like the same structure and like the movies are very, they're siblings, or cousins or something. And I set out from the beginning. It was like, all right, if they couldn't do it in 88, we shouldn't do it in our movie, because that they also tie back to the previous conversation with the disposable shit of movies now.
Right.
It's also special effects. If you can do anything, nothing matters. And we're so used to just watching fucking cartoons now that are just 90% CGI. It's like, okay, fucking Doctor Strange's head is the only goddamn real thing on screen, and everything else is untangible bullshit. And it doesn't matter. My brain doesn't like, and I've said this on other shows, so sorry if I repeat myself, but
no, you're fine.
There's something, even when you're watching a bad movie, if you watch a good stunt or a stunt gone wrong or something, you cannot give a fuck about the story, anything about it. But as soon as you watch a human being go through something, there is a like innate human thing that attaches you to the project and pulls you into the movie. You go, oh, that looked like that hurt. And that does not happen in modern movies because nobody is getting hurt. Nobody is that urge of, like,
only film I can think of
polished off the edges.
The Mission Impossible films. I mean, that right there is one of the big draws for me with Tom Cruise, is like he's doing all this stuff. Like he's legit doing all this stuff. And so
he understands the power of it. He understands the Lawrence of Arabia of it all. Of like, no, this has to fucking matter. No, he's single-handedly, like, it's like him, Nolan, and like maybe Tarantino, like the last fucking tentpole, like the last, hopes for this fucking thing. Or they're just like, no, let's try to hold on to what made this important.
Right.
Maybe the limitations of this had something to do. Yeah. So to the /Squatch point with special effects. Yeah. If there's a limitation, maybe don't push it. If you can't show something, maybe leave it to their imagination. There was more to it.
Yeah.
It sparks limitation sparks creativity, and like the fact that we can show anything now, there's a severe lack of creativity.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do we even have imaginations anymore? Because we're showing everything constantly.
Yeah.
Well, between that and AI, I mean, you don't have to have one anymore, do you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, don't get me started on that plagiarism. So yeah.
I tell you what, man, everyone who comes to this show, as soon as it's AI is mentioned, the same reaction. And I don't blame a single one of you. I get it. Totally get it. But it's funny. I'm going to have to splice all the
You just
AI
have to learn.
reactions together someday.
You just have to learn a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to have to do a thing? Yeah, go learn how to do it. In doing so, you're gonna learn stuff about yourself and your own character and
Sure.
your own endurance. That's how you become a person.
Right.
But no, your computer can do it, so we must let it do it. Like, no, like the fucking well. And I guess to tie it all back to even an earlier bit, we were saying the tangible quality of the products that were put out about a movie, the music videos, the painting, the posters, the novelization. I hand painted the poster for this movie
No
because
shit. You painted
Really?
it.
yeah, I was like, I need like an 80s hand painted thing. And I was like, and I could go pay $20 and have some fucking bullshit do it. But I was like, I'll just take October, and after my construction job every fucking day, I'm just gonna come home and put on a fucking blue horror movie from 1978 to 80, or well, I guess 93 is kind of my range I've been living in for the last 3 years. And yeah, I'll just paint and you get better at things.
Exactly. Yeah. You
What being
practice
a
enough.
person is about.
I'm trying to pull up this poster here because.
I've got it.
Do
I'm
you?
looking at it right now. Yeah.
This guy right here.
No, not that one. That's a
No?
graphic design thing. There's a hand painted one. It's a little more complicated.
Okay. If you're able to, I'd love to see a JPEG of that. Maybe unless you want to keep that hush hush until the film comes out. But that's impressive, man. I cannot wait to see that. That sounds awesome. Now, what about the cast in this film? I know we have, Bill Oberst Jr., Lynn Lowry, Tony Hudson, Autumn Ivy. Can you talk about the cast and how everyone was brought together?
Yeah. No. So all of these people are just, I'm I'm a big horror guy, so fans of all theirs. And I had edited on another movie with Bill Oberst and at Dogwood, actually.
Oh,
And
really?
kind of fell in love with his performance in this thing. And I was just like, this guy. I mean, and that's kind of the case with, I guess, all the actors in this movie, or the bigger actors, the Lynn Lowrys and the Tony Hudsons and everybody. It was just like, especially with Tony Hudson and maybe Bill, where it was just, here's somebody who's talented, and I just don't feel like they've been given, the material, that to really make them shine. We're like, Bill is just this like monologue legend, I don't know. The guy's just screen presence incarnate. Like, you give him anything, he'll fucking make it work. And so I've never seen a B movie with him in it where I wasn't like, Bill wasn't great in that. Like, and then Tony Hudson, similar kind of thing where, I'd seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 and The Uninvited, her cat on a boat movie. And, I'd seen those, but then I watched this kind of War Games ripoff called Prime Risk about like robbing ATMs and a secret communist plot that these kids find. But she plays like the most tenacious, like just, I don't know, incredible, like, female heroine, like hero that I'd ever seen in a movie. And like Lee Montgomery is like the male lead in that movie. He was like this big teenage heartthrob at the time and stuff. And so it's like these two are the leads, but he's the damsel the entire movie, and she's just like the smart one. And I don't know. It was the first time I'd ever really seen it, and she just had this likability and this charisma to her where I was just like, this is like somebody's like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, she could really nail something. And so I wrote all the roles in the movie, for these actors. And then we shot the opening 5 minutes for not a lot of money, actually. Like work lamps and just all the same shit that we've made all of our big movies in the past with.
Right.
And so we scraped together the first 5 minutes, but we took it very seriously. And so I just sent out the script and the opening 5 minutes with the opening credits, and they had their names in it already. And I sent them the script and said, hey, here's the character. And like, I wrote this with you in mind. So they watched the first 5 minutes just to tell you like, no, I'm fucking serious. They wrote the script, and it was just kind of my 1-2 punch. Cause the script is very, very genuine and pretty serious. So it's just like the opening tells you a little bit of like, okay, no, they're going to try to take this tone as serious as text is telling us.
Right. I cannot freaking wait to see this. I'm going to put links in the description for people at home that they can check out the trailer, check out the Indiegogo, and, just check out the website, check out all about you guys. Can you tell us about the Indiegogo? Again, running till September 1st, correct?
Yeah, around then. Yeah, it should only be like 10 days left. I don't know when this comes out, but yeah,
I'm going to get this out as soon as possible.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know if this will help us, hurt us, but like we have the, most of the budget. Like the movie's been kind of privately funded, so it's like we're not like begging. Like we're making this movie no matter what. It's
awesome.
I've been putting this together for 4 years. I've pretty much drawn out like every frame, and like I know what this is. I know what it looks like. I can pretty much answer any question about it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought with my own little fucking rant there.
You're talking about the Indiegogo.
Yeah, sorry. So the whole bit with that, like we're making this movie no matter what, and this, the Indiegogo is just really so I can try to not have a day job anymore.
And who the hell doesn't want that? Come on,
right. Just focus on this, and like, it's also the releases thing. It's like we're not in the jump. We were like, you know what? Let's try to do something different here, and that's the same with the release, where it was just like I've got movies on streaming. I'll never see a dime for them, and it's just a sea of content. It's
right. Oversaturation out there, man.
Yes. Yeah. And it's, unless you've got crazy, marketing and social media, like it's really hard to make your thing stand out. And so it's like,
don't we know?
There's the theatrical distribution, like it died off. Like I've been saying it for decades, like literally the last decade, where I was just like, yeah, within 10 years, theaters are going to die off. And then COVID, I was like, it'll be like the drive-in. You can still find them, but they're going to be
far
a lot
few
less.
Between. Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and it expedited everything by 5 years. It just was like fast forward, like here we go, and justly so. So much to the theatrical distribution, like just component that like it's crucial to the way that films are seen. It's crucial to the way that they live. And it's not, it's not just that. It's also, again, the music videos, the novelizations, all the tie-in shit. It's like they used to be, this used to be a big fucking deal, and now they aren't. And so we are just planning to treat this like a big fucking deal. And so we're doing our own theatrical distribution. If like I'm holding out, somebody gives me the right number, if there's a theatrical component to the distribution. But unless we see that, I'm going to hold out. We're going to do this ourselves. And we're going to do a theatrical roadshow tour, like nationally.
Awesome.
And
nice.
We're going to do, Revival House theaters and stuff. And so we're going to try to find sponsors for all that and just, try to do this like an old rock show thing. And honestly, that's part of it too. There's hair metal in this movie. There's all these things. So it's like, no, it's in, like we learned on Wild Western. It's like, no, might as always well have 2 buns in the oven. So we're going to shoot a documentary during it as well. And like you can show that before the movie, because it makes like, you just need to make this a memorable experience. You don't go home at the end of the night and what was that name of that alien movie we watched? Like, was that Covenant or which one?
Romulus.
Like you should never be able to fucking forget SLASQ. That's my hope.
No.
Like you should leave this movie and be like, no, that's fucking it. Like it's like we have the title. If I can live up to half of the shit I'm trying to pull off, I think we've got the definitive Bigfoot horror film. So hopefully that's the aim. So
you've already got our money. We're going to come see the damn movie. I can't freaking wait. I hope
beautiful.
You guys are.
Well, you guys might be in it if you want. So we'll be shooting in Western New York, and in late October we're doing this whole big bar massacre thing, and like 50, 60 people are dying at this fucking thing. Like I'm destroying a small town. It's a disaster.
Really?
Like so. Yeah, if you guys want to come out to the bar, you can cameo it. I'll kill you.
Oh my god! Send me that information. You said in October.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's 21st, 25th there time frame. But yeah.
Yeah, send us the address and stuff, and we'll see. No promises right yet, but if we can make it happen, that sounds awesome.
I would love to be killed. Yeah,
I've always wanted to be killed. Now, as far as the
we didn't make that
Indiegogo-
happen for you guys in yesteryear or Wild Western.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said, oh yeah, we didn't make that happen for you guys in Wild Western. I was like, I think. Spoiler, I guess you guys lived through that movie, I think.
Well, it's okay because I enjoyed the fact that we get to, cheer and stuff during the arm wrestle. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. But
Yeah.
I'm not used to this shit. This is the first movie. Come on. I'll get there.
No, you get it. No, fuck it. We'll say it here. That movie ends with a arm wrestling climax between Abraham Lincoln and Barry Caramello Jr. I don't think that statement can hurt the marketing of this movie.
No, actually, that's probably good for it. Yeah,
that's the commercial right there.
Yeah,
I was in it. I know what happens, but I still want to see it. I'm sold. But for your Indiegogo, for people who get on there and be a backer of Squatch, there's all kinds of cool things for them to get their hands on, DVDs, T-shirts to that effect, but there's even levels where people can get themselves in the film.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a bit of like a sweepstakes thing where it's, we're doing like a raffle, like drawing thing where depending on the certain package you buy, you get more chances or not to be like added to a thing where you get killed by Bigfoot. But yeah, as well as there is just a straight up chance to buy it where you're, it's like the ultimate slasher experience. We'll bring guys out to the set, lodging and all that stuff. And we'll, be in the movie. You get a speaking line. You get killed by a Sasquatch. You're listed as one of the producers. It's
cool.
the whole fucking gig.
What more
so that is, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but, we're trying to do something pretty ambitious here. So,
yeah. And you're giving them their money's worth too. It's not like they're paying a shit ton of money for some piddly shit, like PBS where you pay $100 and you get a fucking tote bag. Like you're getting what you paid for. Awesome.
And there's also just producer things on there. There's missing posters, all sorts of little things. You can buy props from the movie, like blood-soaked props from the movie.
Oh, sweet.
Which we've got like a ton. Like after we filmed the opening 5 minutes, we just had tons of blood covered books and VHSs and stuff, and it was like, I guess we should start keeping all this shit. So like we got a bunch of really cool shit out there. So get in early, you guys can grab that stuff, and we're probably going to run another one. There's only like 10 days left on it, so we're going to shoot the movie, and then once we're done, we're going to have a lot more forgive the expression, content to put out there as far as like, sampling how, the scale of the actual movie, as well as, the music videos and shit that we're going to be shooting and, all that stuff. So really to give people the scale of, the release and how seriously we're taking the entire process. So maybe we'll run another one in the spring for some more post-production funds and stuff. But right now we got about 10 days left on this one, and there's some exclusive stuff that's left on this one that won't be available on the second one, as well as some of the merchandise and stuff. It's like these Indiegogo campaigns will be the only chance to maybe get like the hand-painted poster that I've done signed by the entire cast and crew and stuff. And so you can get that on there. Or a script, signed by me and stuff. And so these things won't be available again.
Okay. Well, let
or
us know.
Certain shirts and designs and things.
Right. Yeah. Which, I think is the way to do it. Make people, if they want to get it, they got to get in now. But yeah, be sure to let us know when that second Indiegogo is about to go up. We can do this again. And
no, absolutely. Yeah, the movie should be done by then. So we'll have some stuff. Maybe we can show a clip on here of you guys getting hacked up.
Oh shit! Yeah, now he's making us have to go up there.
What'd you say?
Now he's making us have to go to the.
Oh, I think we're going.
Film it.
Sounds like we're going. You said Western New York.
Yeah, Jamestown area ish. So yeah, it's kind of in between Erie and Buffalo.
Oh, that's beyond perfect, actually.
Yes, it is.
We have friends in Buffalo, so it sounds like a road trip's happening. Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
But Aaron, I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to remind everyone to go to /squatchmovie.com, assbackwardfilms.com, and once again, down in the description, I'm going to have the link to the Indiegogo. Go check it out. In the meantime, hopefully we're going to see you in October, Aaron.
Yep,
but until then, best of luck to you, and thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Anytime, man.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, guys.
Jack, tell these people what we got on our website, sir.
Go to cannedairpodcast.com where you can see What am I talking about? That is old. I was going.
It's a bug. I infected you.
Yeah. I got to remember. It's been a little. Okay. Go to cannedairpodcast.com where you can listen, like, follow, subscribe, see some videos, buy some merch, become a patron, and go to our YouTube page. And if you'd like to be a guest and promote your work, send us an email on our contacts page.
And don't forget to find us on Twitter at CannedAirPod, on Instagram at canned_air, and on TikTok at CannedAirPodcast. And the website Jack was just talking about and is displayed here on the screen, CannedAirPodcast.com. A few different ways you can support us. There's a merch tab, Patreon tab. I don't think those need explanation. If you want some t-shirts, hats, that kind of shit with our logo on it, or just extra content, that's your place to go, and you're supporting the show in turn. And if you don't have the money to support the show, leave us a like, leave us a review, hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, all that stuff. It's all free, and it means a lot to us. It helps us out more than you know. But I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. So, until next time, I am Jeremy Colley.
I'm Jack Doherty.
And I'm Aaron Bratcher.
Thank you so much for listening and watching, everyone. Be excellent to each other.